since our convention last year. Pay tribute to the efforts of many people who responded to the call to arms and worked tirelessly through 2011. Those party members who worked as candidates, knowing they had little chance of making the Parliament, we owe to them a very special vote of thanks. They were the real heroes of the election because their combined efforts with yours pushed our votes well above the threshold. And if we had had a decent reportage of the surge that was going on around New Zealand, we'd have done twice as well. You'll remember how all the experts vote us off, but you never, ever lost your faith. When we walked back to Parliament, the opposition were a beaten lot. They spent the 3 years of our absence being knocked around and trampled on by the National Party and its motley bunch of cohorts. The first thing we had to do was to put some steel into the heart of the opposition. And the psychological impact of our return cannot and should not be underestimated. Let's face it, they let National get away with murder in our absence. And voters told us to get back and to take it to them, and that's exactly what we've done. We are not intimidated, and we don't mind a scrap. We were, after all, elected to keep our eye on things and to hold the government to account, to be your watchdogs, to let you know when strange things were happening and when there was a threat to the people of this country. And there are times in politics to fight as well as fight. Ladies and gentlemen, the situation we find ourselves in as a country is critical. We have ended up with a Parliament that is an affront to democracy. National, as you know, gerrymandered the Epsom and Ohio electorates and then bribed the Maori Party. Now, many sections of the media and the opinion polls claimed National was a shoo-in. Year upon year, month after month, week after week, that they were a shoo-in. We knew that they weren't. And the end result was just one seat. It is now just one seat for them to be toppled. But the result of all this was 30% of all voters stayed home on election day 2011. Don't underestimate what a dramatic effect those erroneous polls had on the outcome. Oh, and by the way, it hasn't come 6 months since we embarrassed them on election night, and they're back reproducing the same old polls. And giving a forecast of who is going to be in the House and not in the House at the time of the next election. Well, we'll bet you a serious plate of wine. And you are going to be looking so stupid. In 2014, we want to help you by making you one of the smart commentariat, not one of the typical ones. 30% stayed home. But I'm pleased to report that your MPs have all hit the floor of Parliament running and are more than holding their own in the debate and select committee work, and that we have brought to Parliament people with experience in the real New Zealand and not just one narrow area of it. I'm pleased to say your MPs are doing superbly, and they'll do even better over the next 2.5 years. To requote Shakespeare, we may advancements dramatically all that we value in employment, in opportunity, health and education and the environment will be in jeopardy. Australia grew in the last year, in March, by well over 4%. What did we make with the genius for Merrill's leading us? The last 3 years, 0.8 has been the growth rate average, and we just got above 1 when Australia was going well above 4. Yet we've been told constantly every day, in the House and repeated across the airways, that we're doing very well in comparison with other economies. We are not. What's becoming very clear now is that this national government has no vision, that there is no plan A, let alone plan B. Already this government looks intellectually tired and defeated and has nothing more to offer than old, obsolete Treasury orthodoxy. And that's why New Zealand First is totally committed to a plan to strengthen our economic base, to deliver again for this country, as we once did beyond all other nations, long-term prosperity. Because one thing is clear, nothing that the national government is doing addresses the serious issues facing our economy. They are in an economic dead-end street. They bumble their way from crisis to crisis over class sizes, state asset sales, farm sales, casino bribes, and ACC scandals. Talk about ACC scandals, they are a party of tapes. And why are you so surprised? This Prime Minister was the second choice of our former National Party operative, who found the first person credible was Don Brown. And although she had taped illegally a commission of inquiry and got convicted of that and fined, they made her the head of the National Party. Then she went out and recruited Dr. Brash, that political genius, who took his last party to oblivion. And the second choice was the man from the teapot tax, who said that all of our supporters were dying, so congratulations for being here. This same former apparatchik of the National Party reappeared with the ACC tax, demanding that there be a resolution before the tax be given back. It puts me in mind of that famous hero from history, the face that stopped 1,000 ships, in the case of Michelle. These people are still perpetuating with bizarre free market economic theory, when the result of their madness is staring them all in the face. Their addition to so-called free trade agreements, despite the evidence of the damage this is causing, is astonishing. They will not staunch the sale of this country's asset base. We all know how long it's been going on. They also lack any plan to build the economic base, in particular manufacturing and exports. These ideologues have taken our manufacturing base from over 30% of our GDP to now 13% and falling. And you wonder where the jobs are? Some commentators have called this period the age of austerity. In our view, it's the age of stupidity, stifling creativity and initiative. So New Zealand First is focused on an economic program that is clear, distinct, and designed to put us on a path to prosperity, and we have the areas to do that in. Take, for example, just three. Our massively overvalued exchange rate. We're in the provinces here today, this weekend, in long too time we say then to jettison the straight market and straight jacket that currently limits the Reserve Bank's ability to contribute to a balanced economic policy. Let's make it very clear. Our dollar is set for the downtown paper shufflers of Queen Street and not the rest of New Zealand from Taita to Invercargill. There is one party who will do something about that, and you're part of it. That's why this conference is very important. This overvalued exchange rate damages our international competitiveness and hurts the exporters just as high blood sugars damage the health of a diabetic. It's the very same condition. The New Zealand dollar is now one of the most traded currencies in the world. Do you think that any of that trade is designed to help you? Or Kaitaia, or Invercargill, or the provinces, or the exporters, or the manufacturers? No, sirree. It's designed to help those who back the National Party. You know, nearly every commentator now says that our dollar is seriously overvalued. Not bank commentators, not insurance house commentators, not the paper shufflers and money speculators, not their commentators, but every other commentator believes our dollar is seriously overvalued, as does the IMF. And we have, unlike any other political party, argued that for years. For 90 long years, we have said, this is what's wrong with our country. But unlike these latter-day converts, we intend to do something about it. If you want to know what bottom lines look like in 2014, listen up, because that's what this convention is about. We have prepared legislation that will give the Reserve Bank the flexibility it needs to promote growth, employment, and our export base. Or in case you say, well, what did you do about it last time? Well, we tried it once, you remember, when we changed the settings for the Reserve Bank, and the then head of the Reserve Bank promptly ignored them. Well, that will not be happening again. You know, ladies and gentlemen, manufacturing matters. And we will stop New Zealand manufacturing being treated as the Cinderella of the economy and give it, again, the priority it deserves. It is not by chance, it is not an accident, that the countries that have weathered the global economic crisis are in the best shape, and those ones are those that have retained their manufacturing base, such as Germany, Sweden and Singapore. Very different people, different parts of the world, but following some sound prescriptions which we once were the world leaders in, when we were number 2 in the world, but which those who have captured the economic and political market have since sacrificed us for. As a small open economy facing fierce competition from multiple sources, our manufacturing base is under terrible threat. And this regime, and John Key, will do exactly nothing about it. We, in contrast, believe in assisting this sector with real research and development support and real incentives to develop new markets and a sensible state purchasing policy. Why do I walk down in Palmerston North and find schools with